What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Now, I know it's been a couple days, and as you can see, I got myself in a little sling here. I had a shoulder reconstruction surgery yesterday, so still trying to get back in the swing of things here, but I am back today because Solana is making the move that we've been talking about for the last week or so, and I want to update you, of course. So with that said, ain't no surgery slowing us down, baby. The train keeps on running. Let's go. So looking at Solana here, what we can see is that its price has now re-entered back into the retest zone that we've been talking about. I said, listen, there was a ton of bullish liquidity here, right? If you simply just look at what happened with this resistance back here in which we created this inverse head and shoulders, all of these things, there's an extreme likelihood, considering the fact that we are getting overrun to the upside on the daily chart prime oscillator, that we would see some type of pullback to the downside. And as I said that, I told you, listen, this zone between $22 and $20.64 is very likely where we're gonna go. We were up here when I was telling you that. I said we're probably coming all the way back down to somewhere in here, and this is when we're gonna look to try to find some support and then possibly continue to the upside, or of course inevitably crash to the downside. So at this given point, of course, I want to now update you and tell you what I am expecting, what I'm seeing, what I'm looking at, and what I'm doing as a result of it. Well, I have to be very brutally honest here in saying that Solana does seem as if it could be easily in position to eventually get this break to the downside of this ascending structure that we've been in. You guys know my rule when it comes to these types of cryptos. When you create ascending levels of support, you will almost always, I'm talking almost always, break to the bottom side of that support. It almost always happens, okay? And considering the fact that we've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, coming up on 5 possible touches to the bottom side of the support, more of them happening over the last few weeks than over the span of the few months leading up to that, it goes to show that the likelihood is here that we're gonna probably get this pulled to the downside rather soon. Now, is it going to happen right now? Obviously, you don't know. There's no way to know. I think that Solana, of course, first and foremost, needs to come back and retest $20.64. Of course, this was that inverse head and shoulders pattern that we talked about, and the reason I say that we need to come back to this level is because this is where we broke out from. Listen, the breakout target from this inverse head and shoulders was met almost exactly, okay? So when you meet an inverse head and shoulders target almost exactly, that key level of resistance oftentimes tries to flip itself from a previous point of resistance to a new point of support and then look for continuation to the upside. That is incredibly normal, okay? So considering the fact that there is still a possibility of establishing some support and the fact that we have bounced off this level on multiple occasions to the upside and we could still do it again, I'm not gonna say it's a guarantee that we're going to lose support here, but it is something I am concerned about. Starting here on the daily chart prime oscillator, we can see that we've only gotten a 50% correction to the downside here. Generally speaking, Solana will fall until it starts to push in bullish indicators on the bottom side. We're not even close to doing that realistically. If you look into comparison, that's like when we were back here. We got to the 50% threshold back here and had to go all the way lower before we did get these eventual reversal with these bullish indications, okay? So considering we're only at this 50% threshold, I feel as if it could be setting us up on the daily charts to get that move to the downside, but again, there's a couple things standing in its way. Now, when we look at the 4-hour chart, on the other hand, though, we can see that we will very likely get some type of attempt to hold support here either at $20.64 or on that ascending level of support. You see this 4-hour chart prime oscillator, what you can see is that we got, boom, bullish divergence there, oversold reading, green reversal triangle, double momentum dot, and your ribbon twisting to the upside with some type of double bottom here forming at the bottom of this oscillator. These things tell me, oh yeah, Solana really should get some type of move, either an attempt back to the upside or start to hold some type of support and use this bullish momentum to try to stop this crash from below the key level of support here. So with that in mind, what I'm gonna say from this video forward is I'm preparing for Solana to make some type of bounce towards the upside. Whether that happens at 2064 or whether we crash back below it, hit this trend line, and then make a move back to the upside, I do think that some type of bounce of this nature is likely on the way. Who knows, maybe even a retest up to $22 again, and I do want to be a part of that. So I have done some minor accumulating here on Solana. I bought just a little bit, just in case I'm right, and we get this bounce to the upside, and who knows, maybe this isn't the time we lose support here. Maybe we do get one more hoorah to the upside, and of course I can capitalize on a very strong move of over 20 to 30%. So with that in mind, I have been doing a little bit of accumulating here for Solana, buying a bit more as we are getting towards the bottom of this move, as again I do believe, based off our 4-hour chart prime oscillator, that we will get a bounce to the upside soon. Now, this 4-hour chart prime oscillator has been doing an absolutely fantastic job of giving us indications of when these bounces are coming, so I'm actually not even really using many other indicators for this call. So of course we will have to just see how time does hold up for today's today's video. But of course, with that in mind, guys, we have been on point calling what's going to happen with Solana and how we should be going about it. So of course, if you have been enjoying our little bullish momentum here on the channel, make sure you do subscribe and like this video so you make sure you see the next one. With that said, I will see you all very soon. I'm gonna go nurse this thing up a bit, and I will see you all next time. Peace out, everybody.